Hello everyone, Ceri the Crafter here, that's C-E-R-I the Crafter, and I'm here with part 2 of my envelope journal make inspired by Darcy Sanders. Now, if you've missed part 1 or you want to see part 1, look in the description box below. In each of the stages of this video, in each of the stages of this journal make, any relevant links will be in the box below, and those links will be in every one of them. So where are we up to? Right, all of my envelopes are done and they're dried, and I've gone through and I've folded over the tops. I did something else. What did I do? Oh, I remember. Any ones that had a pointed flap to them, I cut down because I thought I only need that hinge. And then what that gave me, sorry, here's spare bits of stuff. What that gave me is if I want to use these in other places to carry colours through, I've got them. I've also pulled out some spare gel prints that I had. I've also pulled out, sorry, lots of stuff to show you. I've also pulled out my box of basically braille-offs or prints or anything that could go with this journal. Some of these are actually from other people they gifted. I think that's from Rhonda. But just pieces that I can use because I need to back some of these envelopes to actually make pockets. But the first challenge of all is to make the journal. I can't say this is something I'm looking forward to. I'm a bit nervous because I'm not really sure how I'm going to put this together. I'm just dividing these up into things that might be considered smaller envelopes and larger envelopes, to be honest with you. Just, I think that can go there. Just so I've got some idea when I start dipping into things, where I can pull from. Maybe those can go into smalls. Right, so all the envelopes are there now. As I said, this is the bit that I think Darcy made look really easy, and I think I'm not going to find very easy, but you know what? That's why this is a challenge for me. I'm going to use art glitter glue, which is exactly what Darcy was using. Not something I would normally have used for this, but that Darcy used it, I'm going to use it. Now, I did say originally I wanted a cover. Now that doesn't mean that there won't be anything on the outside of the cover. Now immediately this one sort of comes to mind that it could actually just go straight over the top of there, which means on one of the covers I've got to flip up, which could easily be done, and then other stuff can go in there as well. So why don't I do that? Right. Now, if I remember correctly, Darcy left just a little bit of a gap, just in case the pockets get a little full. So, fingers crossed. It's not going to take me a whole hour, I should imagine, to do this, assembling of this. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to then go on to try and attach some of the other papers onto the envelope, and I'll explain that in a second. Let me just get this one stuck down. So put it down. I'm going to use a store card or a key card just to get that in there. Wipe away the excess. Right, and put the pin in here just while I explain what needs to be done. So anyway, that's my first bit. If I've got any bits that are lifting up, I can always touch them back down. Now, maybe you see it best on this one. Okay, so this would be hinged onto something else. However, I don't always want my pockets to be that way. I may want to make a pocket that way, or even that way. So this needs to be covered up. So what I need to do, once I've assembled this, is I'll get a piece of paper or tissue or something, and I will glue along here, glue just down the fold, glue along here and glue along here, so that then a piece can go over it to actually seal away that gap without putting glue here to seal the envelope. You'll see me do it, but I thought just to give you a bit of a heads up on what I'm going to be doing. Right, so, ooh. I'm a little bit at a loss, I must admit. Now, not all envelopes need to... Now, is that going to stay open, or is that going to be... That might be another flap of some sort. Right, one of these envelopes about that size. Possibly. So it's a bit of a dig. See if I can find an envelope that's near enough that height. Be easier just to do this, wouldn't it? Right, these are the tallest envelopes. That's the tallest so far. That one's up there as well. And I don't think any of these, oh, I don't know, that one might be. Right, so it's going to be between these two. I'm wondering whether I want to put that on there. Shall I? Or should I put it on there? Maybe put it on there. Now put it slightly to the bottom as well. Right, okay. There has to be, it's a bit like doing a puzzle, this, from what I can see. I'm quite good at puzzles. I'm quite good at figuring things out. I think if you're a little bit spatially challenged, I'm not sure this may be the thing for you. Yeah, because I couldn't, in all honesty, follow Darcy's video exactly, because Darcy's supplies and my supplies are different. If I just come along, where's the edge? I don't want to go all the way to the edge of the flap. I want to give it some breathing time. Right, so if I've done that, then this can also have something on it. So that folds like that. That is pretty much going to have to fold there, isn't it? So right, let's fold that over. Now, just because I've got something that's got the appearance of a cover, as I said, doesn't mean it's going to stay exactly like this. This was just me trying to get my head around it, to be honest. Right, so that flips out, that flips up, that flips that way, but I've got spare space here for something else. I've also got something there, and that can be a space. Right, I think I'm getting there now, Darcy. So if that was to be threaded into there, that could also be, it's going to be a bit tricky threading that in there, but we'll see. I'm in shot, I am in shot. Now where these hinges are, I may well be reinforcing them a little bit when I decorate around them, because it may well take something like that. Now let's see. I'm bending my envelope up so I can see where the hinge is going to be. Actually, if I put it in the middle, there's no reason it has to be at the top or the bottom. Right, that bit in the middle needs to be gone, or I'll end up sticking down my envelope. Right, so that is now there. That is now there. I can still put something else on there. So let's just leave that a second, because I want to put something here. I'm kind of working from my biggest envelopes to my smallest, to be honest with you. Now, if that goes along there, that wouldn't encroach on that. That would, it can't be that envelope, because that's going to, oh, I suppose, actually it needs to be this side, doesn't it? Because this would open up, this would open out, and then it wouldn't encroach on that. Whoa, this is going to do my head in. Right. So I need to put something on the outside of here. Thank goodness I'm not thinking about putting any sort of signature pages into this. Right, so I'm literally going to come in from this side and lay this close to, but not against that edge. Now, I do not know at this point whether I'm going to put a closure on here, whether there's going to be a closure on here or whether one of the pieces I'm currently adding could work as a closure. So if that closes, that closes. That has to close in there. See, this could come around and contain something that closes on there. So, but let's not get ahead of ourselves. Right. So now that means I'd quite like something in here to open this way. Right. Darcy, I know you wouldn't laugh at me, Darcy, but I can probably hear you laughing in the background at this point. Yes, I think this one. Right, so if I put that there per se, maybe put it up a bit. I don't want everything to be down. I have a habit of putting everything down at this edge, and I don't think I need to. Right. I think Mariah from Pierre Marty Studio said that this idea was attracting her as well. So Mariah may be doing one of these as well, which will be interesting. I think it's going to be, if she does it, I think it's very interesting that everyone who's doing this is creating using the same inspiration, but I can absolutely guarantee every single one of us is going to be completely different to the other. Right, right, Ceri, think. So could that be, that could be folded under there and that could be folded on there. Right. Now that does kind of need something. Now it either has a small something or it has a tall something. If I was to thread that on there, slip that in there for a second. If that was to be on there, there was a little envelope. Would that be? No, I feel this is going to be a flip up or a flip down. Right. Okay, right, well, it's working so far. It's going to be one of those Chinese puzzles to put back together. Right. That's going to have a panel on. Actually, this could potentially be an up tuck or an upfold from here. And there's enough space. It's almost exactly the right size. So let's turn this around so I can glue this because I'm going to do this. I think putting a thumb hole in there would be a good idea. Now, because I won't need to back this, I probably will back it, but because I don't need to, putting a thumb hole will help me at this moment in time. I don't mind that there's a bit of the original envelope scene. Goodness knows what this is going to look like when it's done anyway. So again, give myself a little bit of wiggle room on the spine. And coming in all the way to the edge. That feels about right. Right, so that can come down there, which kind of makes this, and this is going to be the opening for the pocket, but that's fine because it'll fold in anyway. So that and that fold across there. Why haven't you stuck this? Because I can press you down. Right, so I'm beginning to get a hefty amount on this here. I'm wondering whether I want to just turn that in on itself, because it's going to be a pocket anyway. Because if I add anything more here, it's going to bulk this up even further, and I don't want to put any stress on that. I think I'm going to glue this in place, because then that reinforces that edge. And there's going to be a journal card or something in this anyway. Let's see if I can do this without getting Still on the wrong side of the envelope. Right. Right, so where am I up to? Sorry, I keep saying right, don't I? I apologise. So that folds over there, and it could even, that hasn't stuck, has it? That's a bit that was lifting up earlier on. Just holding my finger a second, right. So this could do with more in it, and I don't mind that, because if I keep to within the join, I'm okay. Actually, where is the join? Oh, it's all the way over there. So I could, or do I want it this way? Am I thinking too much like a journaler here? Actually, I do think I'm going to do it there. Yes, I am. I don't think anyone realises how far out of my comfort zone I am in doing this. In fact, I'm probably so far out of my comfort zone I can't even spell comfort zone. Right. Let's lift this up to give me a guide. Put that close. I'm not going up to the spine of the previous one. As you can see, I'm leaving a gap, and I think that, in fact, I'm absolutely certain that's what Darcy kind of recommended. Right, so that's okay there. So I've got a page, a flip down. I'm going to need a degree to actually put this back together, aren't I? Right, that's okay, because I don't mind that look, because this is probably going to be decorated further. This is still the outside cover. Right, now that's going to be a flip up. Or is a flip. And I've got another flip up here, which needs to be attached to something. Maybe there's a flip up there. That would be a good place for a flip up, wouldn't it? Right. Sorry, I don't mean to go quiet. I'm thinking. And this is definitely taking grey cells to work. Right. Where's the bend? Let's put it about midway. Right, let's give this a bit of a squish. So that puts that in there. So nothing is blocking up anything else yet. Not yet. It's not going to if I do this right. Right, and that goes into there to there. Okay, right. I do feel the back is getting more attention than the front. So let's put something in here. Now, I've got all these envelopes. I'm not sure I'm going to use all of them. As I said, when I made them, I said I wasn't sure what was going to be used. Well, that's quite a wide one. Would that be too wide? Yeah, so that's probably, oh, it's probably too wide for both ways. Unless it gets attached to something. Actually, if it got attached to this one, still going to be a bit tight. What about on this side? I think I've just found my first victim. In other words, one that's not going to work on the front. Doesn't mean it can't work on the back. I mean, I could come in, let's press that down. I could come in and put it this way on, and it would barely reach there, but if I hedge it over a little bit, I can get away with that. The back seems to be becoming very yellow, doesn't it? And actually they're the same piece, so if I line it up against there, what's this being stuck to? It's being stuck to that, which isn't a problem. Yes, let's do that. That shuts across there. Is that straight? As straight as it's going to be. So then that puts a piece on the outside of the journal, which means that still opens up. Right, do I need any? That's okay. Right. I am getting lost with this already. Right. So there is a back piece there, which means I could actually have something in there now that could fold this way. No, I couldn't. It needs to fold that way to hold in place by that one. Right, is there another really wide envelope here somewhere? Right, those are all small. What is the widest envelope I've got? This one. I don't like that on that colour anyway. Are you sticking? I quite like the idea of this one though. Now, if I pull that right the way over, that's I don't particularly like this, but that's fine. I can stick something onto that. Let's put this down. And I'm going to take it from, stick it onto this edge, or align it with this edge is what I mean. Because of course with all of the scraps I've got, there could be a panel going in here anyway. In fact, there might be a good idea to put a panel in here, and then that actually covers that up. So I've got that, 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 that. What's sticking? What held that up? Oh, it was me and my folding. That. Right. The only thing I'm seeing so far is this here. Having that hinge out moves everything. But I think it's going to be okay. I'm not worried. It's just, I just need to be aware of it. Right, I was working on this side, wasn't I? I must remember I've got smaller ones as well. I'm being drawn to the blue today. Is that going to be too many flips down? Actually, because I think that one, yeah, that one has to go over all of them to hold it in place. It doesn't, and actually I quite like that next to that. Should we do that? We'll do that. I'm probably making this far more complex than it needs to be. Welcome to my brain, people. Welcome to my brain. Little bit of overlap room, and that still shuts on there. That still shuts on there. Right. It's going to take me a map to find out where things are in here. I must admit, my gut instinct was to use matte medium to stick stuff down. But as we said already, I've got pieces to go over the top of this anyway. Right, am I getting close to having enough in here, do you think? I don't know how many Darcy had in his. I didn't actually check. I do have decreasing sizes of envelopes, however, which means I could stage this so that I got less and less right. I don't particularly want to use that one. I'm not overly fond of that one, but I might use them as papers. So let's put them into the papers pile, which only leaves these. That one's boring. That one, I've already got that in here, but I think I'd like to put it somewhere else as well. I have a feeling the back might already be done. Yes, let's put that there. I don't think that's going to bother anything. I might even come across a bit with it, to give me some wiggle room in decoration. Now, I don't actually know what I'm going to put on the journal cards or tags that go into this. I know Darcy used flowers, flora, fauna, and fly as the theme, which was the Makers Mixed Media Art and Artist group. It's their theme for April, although this is not going to be completed in April. It doesn't mean I can't do it under that theme, but I don't know what I'm going to use to put on my ephemera. I do have a plan though. I think I'm going to use a couple of pages from I've got this scrapbook that I turned into my masterboard book, and I've got a feeling there's a few in there that are really colourful that would work in here. So I may not need to make a new masterboard or anything, but I will. Well, it needs to go over there, doesn't it? I need to actually think about what I'll need when I actually cut that up. Right, I think the back is done. That's going to be a problem if I haven't got that all together, which only leaves me 3 envelopes. Now, do I want something that opens the other way? I could have something open the other way. Right, we're almost there. Where are we at time-wise? Oh, good grief, it's already half an hour. I wasn't sure how long this would take, so. Let's turn that around. Where's that fold? Or the spine, should I call it, as it is. It doesn't feel exactly where I want it, but it's down now. And where it's down, it's gonna stay. Well, that's a plan. So that folds, that doesn't inhibit that. I wonder, could I? Ooh, would it fit? It would fit. I know that I do a flip down, so something can tuck in there. Would that be interesting? What if I put the flip down so it comes down to the bottom? That feels awkward. Now, do I want this in here? This also doesn't appeal to me, right? So I'm down to the last one anyway. Kind of liking the idea of that flipping down. And I think I'm liking the idea of it flipping down because I could put a panel there or I could have writing space. I want this just a fraction more over. Let's do it. Let's just do this thing. So I've got to flip in every direction now. I've got an up, down, left, right. Let's just say this flips everywhere. I'm glad I chose to do all different colours, I must admit, because it looks pretty even if I haven't done anything else with it. Right, so this can be folded up, which means I've got something that can be revealed. Let's just put my lid on my glue a second, because otherwise I'm going to lose the plot on this one. Right, let me get my head around this. So that folds, this folds, that folds. What are you bulking up? Oh, it's because this goes on the inside, that's why. That folds, that folds. Whoa! Okay, and that's at the back. The front is an empty space, which actually is fine. I don't mind that, because I might want to put something on the cover anyway. As I said, might be a panel. Right, so experience of opening it. You open it, there's a pocket there. That's probably going to be a top pocket when I've done it. That is an up tuck, but I could seal it and make it a top pocket, which means when it comes down, it's a bottom pocket. Stuff will fall out of the bottom pocket. Yeah, that's going to have to stay as a top pocket. Okay, that all works so far. What have we got here? On the back, we've got two pockets, which are likely to end up as top pockets, to be honest with you. We've then got this with another flip. That one's already a flip up. This I can just cut off, or I can use that. I might have that as a side pocket because it closes in. Flip, 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 flip. I think we've done it. Oh, no, I can't put it back together. So I think what I need to do now is I need to work my way through and actually put something on the backs of each of the envelopes. Like this one is pretty much done. This one needs something down here. Now I thought I had a piece of that. I do have a piece of that. Well, it's not a piece of that, but it's near enough a piece of that. Now I must remember things don't need to match. In fact, if they didn't match, it would be better. Let's find a piece for this one while I've got it in front of me. Right, there's yellows in here. Not that colour. That's a bit dark. I don't know why that pulls that down. Right. How far over do I need to be? I need to be at least this far over. I must admit, when it got to this stage with Darcy, I kind of started getting lost. Well, I kind of got lost earlier on as well, but... And just tear that off there. I can always tidy up edges if I need to. So, what do I need to do? I need to glue it into the spine there. I need to glue these edges. Actually, if I glue this, and then I can go in and put glue in other places. So as I was saying earlier on, this is the point at which you don't want to glue your envelope shut. I don't need that bit of debris in there either. So I'm gluing it in such a way that I'm hoping not any glue goes in there. And if it does, I can always slide a bone folder in to get it out again, I suppose. Where's my piece? Oh, here it is. Fold it up ever so slightly. Line that up in there. We're kind of right. Right, I don't want it to bind the seam. That's what I was trying to avoid. Right, now this is flapping here, which means I can now come in here and glue this bit down. I don't know how interesting this video is going to be, guys. Right. So basically, this pocket is now sealed until I decide which of it's going to be cut open again. I'm going to trim that off without slicing the edge off my pocket or anything that goes in there's going to fall out the bottom. Right, so that's one pocket sealed. This pocket doesn't need sealing. This pocket does. So I'm going to have to find something as big as this again, which I'm not sure I've got anything that big, because I think that was the biggest pocket here. So this could be where I need to go and get something from here, which is basically cardstock or heavier than copier paper, let's put it. That's quite nice. It's presentation paper that was on, which means it's a bit heavier than copier paper. Right, let's just tear off top and bottom. All strips that I tear off will just immediately go into the basket for other uses. About there. And this is quite a thin one, so I'm just going to tear it down with the ruler. I don't mind a straight line if it's a torn straight line. Right, again. Oh, if I didn't say already, by the way, I will obviously put a link to Darcy's videos for each stage of hers. So if you're someone who's interested, you could actually see a comparative of what I'm doing. Right, so I'm going to bind anything up. Not as far as I can see. This will strip down. Let's turn this in such a way that I can get to it. Now it could be there's going to be panels put across the front of these or the join of these, so they may stick down even further. Right, so that's that sorted. Let's take that pin out of the way, I'm going to lose it otherwise. Right, so this one needs something. It's not the same blue. I do quite like it. Actually, I wonder, no, it has to be that. Actually, that barely the right size. Right, let's think of something different then. I could do this again, I suppose. I'm kind of thinking of coming all the way across all of those. And that's as near as darn it. And if I take this strip that's a bit ugly off here, it's all right, let me get my head around this a minute. So if I come all the way to here, will it hurt if that's there? No, because that folds in that. It hurts this. Right. Thank you for shouting that if anyone was shouting it. So I can actually take this. Actually, let's tear this one. See, that's why I check stuff, because I would have found I'd sealed all of that in. Hopefully I've been shot. It's a little bit high at the top, but that's fine. You're going to bind, you are going to bind. Actually, let's move it down. So I can always fold this piece over. for no other reason than it just brings this colour to the other side. How am I doing for time? I'm going to stop this video at an hour because I'm doing the same process, repeated. I can just do a flip through at the beginning of the next video. I have a feeling I cut the edge of that envelope. I did. Well, that one's going to be a top one anyway at that point. Right. This one kind of doesn't need anything because it is that orientation anyway. I had to think about that one. This one needs something though. Right, that's the paper there. And that woodwork there. Just need to take a hair off the edge of that. That's about right. I'm finding standing the pages up a lot easier to save me binding the spine. Right, is there any wiggle room under there? There is. I wonder whether Darcy's seen one of these done before and that's where her inspiration came from. Just curious. Darcy, let me know. Just wondered how your brain came to this. She's quite cute there. I think I'll wait till I've done that because just having a thought. No, I've cut it too short. Okay, right. So have I got all of the bits for this one? Right, this we're thinking about, because I'm not sure that needs anything there, but it might need something to just reinforce it. So that flips up. That doesn't need anything. This flips down. This has already been done. This is already, all these pieces stuck to it. Come away. That flips over. Maybe that needs to flip under now. Oh, I think they flipped under anyway. That one's been done. That one's been done. That goes over the top. Right. Trying to get my brain around this is doing my head in a little bit. Right. This one I want to seal because I want it opening on that edge. I've got something that's big enough. Not amongst that. That's okay as it is, so this needs something bigger. It doesn't need to be a lot. That just looks like I'm sticking something down. Right, pink. Pink doesn't bother me on this one. I think I'd like this to be a torn edge. Doesn't it bind? No, you're okay. I think I better start thinking about what I'm going to do with the closure, or if I'm going to have a closure. Because Darcy went ahead and used 2 bulldog clips and a chain, which is actually quite a clever closure. Right, so that's done, that's done. So we're back to these sort of ones now. Let's go to the middle. Right, that doesn't need anything. That doesn't need anything. This definitely needs something. Why is it everything I'm picking up isn't the right size? Well, that seems a bit redundant putting that on that way, so we're not going to do that. Right, let's pull out another piece of this, or I'm going to end up using the same stuff for every single one of them. I'm trying to think of things that are kind of in the ballpark like that. Right. Give this a bit of a rip off. And that is quite a wide piece. I really didn't think it would take me almost an hour to do this. I'm quite shocked. I thought I was being quite decisive as my decisions as to which envelopes flipped where. But obviously not decisive enough. Right. Put that up to stand on there. Not binding. That'll need trimming up afterwards. I'm not going to do it with you here because why should you sit through that? I'm eager to get to the decorating stage, I must admit. That's the bit that I'm like, ooh, how am I going to decorate? Am I going to stamp? I'm obviously going to put tissue on it. Right, that actually looks like it was a perfect place for that. And I think I'm going to go all the way to there. Take that bit off there. And then that means I can reinforce that fold and cover it up at the same time. And just that little bit needs to come off there. Right, so we go all the way to the edge. Right, so this bit is completely glued. I'll go in and catch the top corners in a minute. Down to here and probably beyond. Need to go onto there, all the way across it. Right, I'm not going to try and fold that just yet. I pushed it up a bit high, but that's fine. I can deal with that. And then this little bit can be done here. So where is the join in this one? I have a feeling it's about there. Right, so I know where the join is, so At least I can press that down just to make sure everything's in contact. Again, I'll trim it in a little bit. Now I do know that these pieces didn't have a glue beneath them. How many more envelopes have I got? Am I going to make this or not? 7 minutes-ish. Actually, I've only got one envelope left to do. Okay, cool. Right. This doesn't take a huge piece. Don't want to use that again. That's not big enough. What is it about me not finding big enough pieces? I guess we'll have to go into the box again. Ooh, that's a punch of purple, isn't it? Is that too much, do you think? No, let's do that. There's a width. Right, I can go that way. I can go that way and take a piece of this here. Go into the scraps box. Right, this doesn't need to be very wide. So actually, why don't I just tear this? Have a bit of an organic moment by there. That can go down there. Right, let's get that stuck in. And then, 54, I've got 6 minutes left. And then I might just be able to trim them up. And we'll take a look and see how they all flipped and flopped and flapped and floundered and goodness knows what. Darcy, if you and I ever get to meet, which I hope one day we will, you owe me a coffee for this one. I'm not sure my anxiety is thanking me for taking this on, but it was my own choice. I cannot blame Darcy. I wanted to do this one. It just shows how naive I am. If there's any A bits that lift up, I can always come in and tidy them up afterwards, or put glue down on them afterwards. Right, so this needs trim. Trying not to rip the envelope. Cut the envelope. This one needed a trim. I think there's a good chance that Patricia from PM Artist Studio would probably never do this project, because she freely admits she's spatially challenged, and I wouldn't regard myself as spatially challenged. However, I'm struggling. This has done my head in a bit. I thought there's one more piece. There's one more piece. That piece. Something felt like it was lifting up down here. It was. Right. You never know, I might have to number these darn pages to make sure I get these in the right order. Right. So let me just put the pin in the glue so it doesn't dry up on me. And we'll do one flip through. Why can't I get the pin in the glue? Goodness grief. There you go. Right. So, front cover. Oh, I didn't do the two on the back. I'll do those off camera, guys. I'm not going to keep you all the way for an hour to just do those. Right, so we've got front cover, back cover. There's 2 pockets on the back, which I'm probably going to do as top loading pockets because they're on the outside. I will cover that. Didn't realise I'd forgotten that. So open it up. So we have a flip here a flip here, a flip, a flip, a flip, and a flip. Right, if I quickly repeat that, then I'll get it in the right order. Then this is a back, so I've got a flip there, a flip there, 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 done. Right. This still bothers me, the way this kind of, the whole book sort of moves out and back. I think, right, brave move from Mr. Griffiths there. I didn't like the way it moved back and forth. So what I'm going to do, thank goodness the glue wasn't fully dried, is all I can say, is I'm going to reattach this so that the fold here is actually on the fold there. So it means it has to be that way around. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to wrap something around this and this to reinforce the bit I've just torn off. Where's that? No, it needs to be by there. Yeah, because if something annoys me like that, I can't unsee it. So it will always annoy me, and then it will always be one of those things I look at, and then when the whole thing is finished, I'll try fiddling it with it and fixing it, and it won't fix. It'll end up me ruining something. Right. So let's just grab a bit of something. Right, I can do a tear along the top. Tear along the bottom. How far around is all that? Should probably, that just needs to come off as well. Right. Let's fold this probably a bit more than half and half. Quick fix with Ceri. That sounds like a new channel to me. Quick fix with Ceri. Yeah, I'd probably run out of quick fixes. I certainly wouldn't have lasted, what was it? I think I've been on this YouTube channel now for 14 years. I don't think I've got 14 years worth of quick fixes. I don't think I'd have enough for that, no matter how hard I worked. Let's just slip that around the corner and then press that down. And that's quite nice because it pulls in that colour and pulls in that colour. Turn this over. That just needs a little bit of a tear off there. Right. Yes, I'm happier with that. It was annoying me. I couldn't be having that like that. Right, so let's see if it now opens more smoothly. Yeah, see, I don't mind that. That opens fine. It's not being blocked by anything else. Right, I think, therefore, I am, as a word. Oh, that was probably why I didn't do it, because of this. I'll think about that. Okay, right. I'm going to let you go now, because why wouldn't I? Thank you for staying as far as you did. I will see you in the next video, where we will decide what the pockets are, start cutting up the masterboard, start putting the piece in there, and then if I can start the decoration, I will. If not, unfortunately, that'll be the next video. So I'm Ceri the Crafter. That's Ceri the Crafter. Until next time, goodbye now.